Will you open the door? I feel like a fool out here. Now, either that or I pick the lock. One way or another, we're going to have a talk before this business with my daughter goes any further. Open the door!
What are you doing here?
Well, I'd ask the same question, but kind of redundant. I didn't come here to check up on you. I swear, I didn't even know you were here.
Well, now you do, so leave.
Well, I got a few things to say to Dr. Kildare over here, but come on, guys, it's not like I don't know what's going on.
What? What do you want?
I want to be that parent that you always wanted and missed, never had.
Really? Well, now is not a good time.
On the contrary, if he's the lounge lizard that you tell me he is, I think it's not a moment too soon. Look, it's my responsibility as your father to see that everything works out and that my little girl doesn't get hurt.
Whoa, see? I'm not a little girl anymore.
You have every right to be concerned about your daughter. I'll tell you anything you want to know. Where should we start?
You know, I remember once I had this op out at Daytona as a crew chief. And part of the deal was they let me have a couple of laps around the track at 180 plus. Oh, what a rush.
Hey, so you should try to 190.
But what about old turn 3?
Turn 3's tough one. If you drift, you're toast. You'll end up right in the wall like that.
Game over.
You weren't done.
Yeah, you're about to be. Can't you see what's going on here? He's trying to prove that my mother is right, that you two are exactly alike.
And why would he do that?
Yeah. I mean, why would I do that?
To mess with my head? You're hoping that I'll be so freaked out by all the similarities that I'll dump Patrick.
Wait, in order for you to dump me, we'd have to be together, and I'm not the kind of guy that gets dumped.
Could you please put your ego aside for just 1 second and open up your eyes? Can't you see what's happening? My dad's working you. The beer, the cars, the spy stories. He's setting the trap, and you are walking right into it.
No one is trying to set anybody up. I just stopped by to give the good doctor a warning.
And I'm listening.
You look like a pretty determined guy. To make points with my daughter, you're going to have to be.
Oh, God, this is not happening.
Look, Robin is tough and opinionated. Just like her mother, she likes to hang on to the controls.
That much I know.
So, if you can't handle a challenge, my boy, then God help you.
Again, what do you think I've, stuck it out for so long for?
Okay. Now is when I need to talk to my father alone.
I can tell you guys have a lot to discuss, so thanks for the race. Play nice.
So, why are you trying to ruin my life?
I am not trying to ruin your life. I'm just trying to make up for lost time.
Okay, slow down. You don't have to cram a lifetime of parenting into one afternoon.
Well, overcompensation has always been a failing of mine. See, my problem is I still see you as that little 7-year-old that I left, sitting on the living room couch and eating a peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
Okay, well, that's cute and all, but I'm not 7 years old anymore. I'm all grown up.
Okay, I understand that. But does your boyfriend realize
Patrick is not my boyfriend.
For what it's worth, I think it's not a bad thing. If Drake was a lesser man, you would have steamrolled him by now in much the same way that your mother did with that idiot Lavery and all the other roadkill that got in the way. Except me, of course.
Of course. What are you trying to say?
You've got a great career, and you should be proud of it. But unless you want to be home alone like your mother, you're going to have to lighten up a little.
Well, excuse me, but I should be so lucky as to end up like my mother. She has a great life.
I don't want to get into an argument on that. So, why don't we move on and start talking about sex?
I hate to break it to you, but It's a little late for the birds and the bees conversation.
Oh, all right, look. I'm sure you're more than familiar with the basics, but I'm just thinking about HIV and what kind of a part that...
You know what? I've been living with HIV for over 10 years now. There's nothing you can tell me about it that I don't already
Yeah,
know.
but what about partners? I mean, at least just on a daily basis.
Excuse me?
Well, Stone, he's been dead for a long time. He must be-
Oh, we're not having this conversation.
What's wrong with this conversation?
So many things are wrong with this conversation. First of all, you're my father, and you just got finished telling me that I remind you of that 7-year-old little girl, and now you want to know about my sex life?
We never
You
had...
see-
We never had this conversation
Okay, fine.
before.
Fine. I take all the necessary precautions, Dad, all right? I know what kind of condoms the... Okay, do I really need to spell out all the statistics
No,
for
I
you?
don't need to get into all the technical stuff. My point here is that, maybe you've exercised a bit too much caution.
What's that supposed to mean?
Well, somewhere along the line, you went from protecting yourself to hiding your heart. What about love?
Love? You don't even believe in love.
Didn't you listen to anything that your mother and I said to you in the islands? I mean, just because we can't live together doesn't mean that we don't love each other. You, on the other hand, seem to be allergic to it.
That's ridiculous.
Then explain to me why you're so hell-bent on remaining single.
I'm not. I just... Look, some people wait their entire lives for love. I fortunately experienced it at a very young age with a very kind and caring man. Loving Stone and watching him die made me who I am. So did loving Jason, who I also had a relationship with. So you see, I'm not afraid of love. I just accept the fact that I may never find it again.
Well, not with that attitude you won't. But what about this Dr. Drake? I mean, isn't that a decent place to start?
Well, this doesn't pertain to that situation. Love is not what Patrick and I are about. Now, if you're talking about sleeping with him, well, that's another story.